video. Today what we're going to be doing is going over scanning and emailing, particularly if you're using some form of webmail system like Gmail or Hotmail or Outlook Mail or Yahoo Mail or whatever you're using. There's quite a few little common traps that people tend to fall into if they're doing this for the first time, and just sort of wanted to go over how I recommend going about scanning and emailing documents, because like they say, there's many ways to skin a cat. So I usually suggest using a program to do your scanning, a third-party program. There is one built into Windows called Windows Fax and Scan. So if you don't want to download anything extra, if you just search scan, you should be able to get your Windows Fax and Scan. But I usually suggest NAPS, or in this case NAPS 2, which is version 2. And NAPS stands for Not Another PDF Scanner. Kind of funny name, but it's a really excellent program that allows you to easily scan, set up profiles, and then either save scans as a PDF, which is searchable using optical character recognition, and or you can save them as a photo file. So you can set up profiles and things, which allows you to sort of optimize the scans depending on what you're trying to do, whether it be documents or photographs. So if you open up NAPS, and if you don't have it on your computer, you can just do a Google search for NAPS 2, and the first result will give you that. Just install it and you'll have this. By the way, sometimes you're better off using the programs that the manufacturer supplies. I know, for example, with Epson scanners, they're really picky about what program can work with it. So your mileage might vary, but generally speaking, this works really well with all printers and scanners and multifunction units. So to scan, just click this scan button, and it's going to ask us to set up a profile since we haven't done this before. So I normally set up a document profile as the default, and then sometimes if I ever want to do photos, I can set up an additional profile for that. So I'm going to call this Canon Multifunction and Documents, and I'm going to click Choose Device, and here is my Canon MP495, if that's the one I have sitting next to me. And paper source is going to be the glass. There isn't actually a feeder on this unit. I'm going to make it grayscale and A4, and the resolution 100 dpi is quite low. That'll give you a very ordinary looking scan. I usually recommend 200 for documents or 300 for photos. Of course, if you want as much detail as you want, you can go up, but you've got to remember that it all depends on the quality of the original print. You can't get quality from something that doesn't exist, if that sort of makes sense. And there are some advanced settings if you want to go through that, but generally speaking, I just leave it at defaults and click OK. So now what's happening is that my multifunction unit is scanning, and that will take a moment. And then once that's done, we're going to insert another page so that we can combine two pages into a single PDF file so that we can easily send that. Okay, so here we go. And this is my Windows test page. Here you can rotate, you can adjust the contrast and brightness, and you can zoom in and you can see how the quality is. Perhaps you might want to bump up the quality level and do it again if you're not getting enough out of it. But that looks good to me, so I'm just going to close that, and we are going to swap over this page, which will take only a moment. And always make sure to sort of work out which way it goes up. I actually have a little sticker on mine because I kept putting it upside down, which is a little annoying. So I'm going to click scan again, and that's just going to use our default profile. I will show you this little profiles button here in a moment, and show you how you can set up a second profile. And almost done. And there we are, there's our second document, and I can zoom in on that and see that the quality is pretty good. I'm happy with that. Okay, great. So those are our two documents. Now, before I save and export, I will quickly show you this profiles function. So if you click on profiles, you can add a new profile. If I click on new here, I can call this something else like Canon multifunction photos. And, I can have this in color and this in really high definition. And it might be, photos are smaller. I'm not sure how big a typical 3.5mm print photo normally is, but you can work that one out. And if I click OK, then hit done. Now when I go to scan, I can choose whether I'm going to scan a document or I can scan a photo, just using this little drop down arrow. Otherwise, if you just click scan, it will by default use the first profile you set up or whatever you choose to be the default profile, and you'll see you have the little tick, and if you right click on this you can change the default, but that one's up to you. So anyway, I have these two documents and I want to export them in a way so that I can send them to someone. Now it's very tempting to just click email PDF, but I'm going to warn you, this doesn't work with your typical webmail platform. Reason being is that Windows has some functionality built in for sending via email, but it's very, very broken unless you use Microsoft Outlook and you cross your fingers and hope that everything happens perfectly. In my experience, even if you have Microsoft Outlook, it is sometimes pretty buggy. So I don't usually recommend going through this unless you have a specific setup. And Outlook is not cheap or practical for everyone. So I just recommend saving this as a PDF. It will ask us where we want to save it. Make a note. I'm going to make a folder here called, let's call this Documents for Test. And we're going to call this Test Document. All right, so now we've saved that file. So that's all done. I'm going to now jump into my email. So I'll head over to Chrome. You may have a direct link to email, but I'm just going to click on Gmail here. And from here, we're going to compose a new message and attach our PDF file. Now, it's worth noting that NAPS has OCR, which means that if you open this PDF, it will allow you to search within it. So I'm just going to put in a pretend email. I can add a CC or BCC if I want. Let's say I'm sending a quote. I can blind carbon copy and pull from contacts. But I'm just going to put in test. Here is a document. And I'm going to click the attach files button here. And all I really want to do is just go back to where I saved. So I remember now I saved it in Documents, Documents for Test, and there's that test document PDF. Now, if you're not sure if this is the right file, let's say you've scanned 20 files, saved them all to PDF and sort of dumped them all in the same folder, there is actually a way to find out what it is before you attach it. By the way, fun fact with Gmail, you can use Google Drive to attach files. This is useful if they're large files or if you're sharing back and forth, but we're not going to do that right now. So if I right click on anything, I can click open or open with and see what that document looks like before I send it off. So I look at that, looks pretty good. That's exactly what I expected. I can be rest assured that that is correct. So I'll close that, and then we've already attached that, but you get the idea. If you're not sure which one it is, right click on it and you can open or open with and just view it before you attach it. And that's pretty much it. Just click send and you're done. And of course, if you make any mistake or if the file's too large, it will bounce back at you and let you know straight away. That's another issue with the send via email function that I see in a lot of operating systems. Sometimes it will error but not tell you, and that becomes very frustrating if you don't realize till a couple of days after. Anyway, that's it for now. Let me know if you have any questions. Hopefully this should clear things up. And yeah, until next time, thanks for watching.